with all his abuse on my mother.
It's not your fault, Kina. He brought this on himself, I believe.
Maybe he found Eve, and with all his hatred, he lost control.
Eve? Who is Eve?
My sister. She's a lesbian just like you. And my father, he hates the last bone in her body.
I see she has some tendencies.
Tendencies?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, she's a lesbian, right?
How did you know?
I just know. A hunch. Yes, we know what kind.
So, Evan, he just up and walked out of the hospital without even being given the all clear from the doctors.
Hey, mommy, but how you can just leave the hospital like that? That ain't really something else, eh?
Yes, sir. The doctor said he'll be fine anyway.
So, did they give him anything?
But I told you he left before they could discharge him.
And they don't give you anything for him?
Well, they gave me some aspirin and a change of diet.
Aspirin? Anything else?
Well, there was a prescription drug. I think it's called warfarin or something like that. But he himself will just have to sign for it.
Okay, but... So, mommy, how is he doing actually?
Evan, I do not even know where he is now. I guess he went straight home.
Alright. Well, anyway, I will see you all later. Louise? Louise?
What, Evan?
Louise.
That's my name. Please don't wear it out.
Lou, you don't have to.
Evan, I only came to collect the rest of my stuff. I'll be out of your hair soon enough.
But Louise, you don't have to.
You told me that we should separate. And actually, I need the space and the time away.
But Louise, Louise, you don't have to.
I don't have to what, Evan? What?
Well, you see, I've been doing some thinking.
So all this time before, what exactly were you doing?
Louise, I'm so sorry about the way I acted towards you. I never meant to hurt you.
Well, you did, Evan, and you hurt Trudy and the dogs.
It's just, after what happened to Daddy there, I just don't want to take any chances.
What do you mean? What happened to Lincoln?
Well, my father had a heart attack, and he had to be rushed to the hospital.
Oh my gosh. Are you serious, Evan? Are you actually serious?
Yes, I
Oh
am.
my god, is he okay?
Well, I don't know, I guess. But I just got off the phone with my mother, and she says that he just got up and walked out of the hospital. They didn't even discharge him.
What's happened? Wait a minute. Hold on. Lincoln just walked out of the people's hospital without a doctor seeing him?
I didn't say they didn't see him. The doctor saw him. He just was not discharged. He just walked out.
Wow. Your father's a real G, Evan. What?
I guess so.
So, what did the doctor say?
Honestly, I'm not even too sure yet. Let me say the doctor gave us some prescriptions or something, but I'm going to find out more when I go to visit them.
When are you going? I think I'd like to come with you.
With me? Lou, come closer. I want to ask you a question.
I'm good where I am, Evan. You can ask your question from there.
Alright, okay. What would you do if I died, Louise?
Evan, what kind of question is that? Are you serious right now?
Just humor me,
Okay. What would I do if you died? I mean, well, you have life insurance.
Louise, seriously.
Okay. I was just joking, though.
You better be joking. But seriously, though, would you be making like cartwheels and somersaults all over the place? Like, would you miss me if I died?
Oh, Evan, I can't believe you're asking me that. I would not be so rejoicing. I still love you. And I believe that we are going through a rough patch now, but God will come through for us.
Yeah, I really pray that he does. But Louise, I'm just truly sorry for what I put us through, what I put you through.
Evan, it's okay.
I mean, there you were trying to make ends meet with my sister's help, and I accusing you of carrying on an affair. I'm so sorry, Louise. Would you please forgive me?
Evan, really, it's okay. I'm fine.
His life is just so short, and sometimes we let it drift away. Look at Daddy. Just so.
Well, hold on a minute. I don't think it's just so with him. I mean, look at the way he treats your mother. It actually serves him right.
Louise.
Sorry I sound so harsh, but there is something called karma. And your dad called it upon himself, Evan.
Louise?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I would do if you left me.
Really? And you wanted to kick me out just the other day when it was Ida playing for the mortgage. Kapalizo.
Lou, you know that was just a frustration talking.
Yeah. By the way, what is this issue between you and your twin sister, Eve?
I come in.
Good afternoon, Matoto.
Stephen, how nice to see you. So glad you came. Come in.
Matoto, I had no choice. You threatened me.
But how you mean? A man must pay his dues to society?
But now it's Mia.
If you play your cards right, I will forgive you for what you did to Kina.
What I did to Kina?
Mm-hmm.
I did not touch her. I only asked her out. Plus, Owen was right there. So I don't know what you're talking about.
That was not the first time you tried to kiss her. Though, forcefully.
Woman, I do not know what you are talking about.
Boy, think. Couple of years ago, at a parent's house, behind the...
All right. You saw?
Uh-huh. You thought nobody saw, eh?
So why you never say anything?
That was not my business. I's Matoto, I know everything. And I kept it right there in my heart. But don't you worry. We'll work something out. Drink that.
But I don't know what that is.
Boy, just drink the thing. Shh. So here is what I want. I want...
That nice, eh? What is it? So you're trying to blackmail me?
Don't ask this old woman questions. Just say thanks. So what is happening with your friend? Nobody telling me nothing. I just did drying up.
Wow. It tastes like CMOS though. Thanks, Matoto. But who?
My grandson. Evan and that girl. I could never remember her name.
Louise?
That's the one.
Well, Louise is a sweetheart. And I'm not going to tell you anything about my friend. If he wanted you to know something, he would have told you.
How are they? Last time I heard, they were getting a divorce.
That's not true, eh? Evan only asked Louise to separate because they were not seeing eye to eye. And, because of his little job situation and...
So he got a job now and he's kicking her out?
That's not true. He's still looking and I'm convinced, he gonna find one soon.
You see, I told him not to marry that bitch.
Matoto!
Eh, Who calling me like that, huh? Bonus, it's Lincoln.
Matoto!
Are you back from the hospital so fast? Come. Come, he must not know you're here, Stephen.
Oh, okay.
Matoto! Where are you, Matoto?
Come inside, Lincoln.
No. I stay outside. You just do too many things inside.
What you mean? Come inside, then. You want people to hear your business?
What business? I don't have nothing to hide.
Well, you're too loud. Not you that just come from hospital.
Woman.
What's your tone? Remember, who is in arrest?
That is exactly why I'm here.
What?
Yes, I am here to say no more. I am tired of paying you for that stupid mistake I made so many years ago. That you're holding over my head. Look, I almost died there. And it's you that would have benefit.
How?
How?
That was our little agreement. For me, not to put your backside in jail.
But look who's stupid all those years. Cynthia is a big woman already, with grandchildren. And I still paying Washma for all those years ago.
You're making joke, Lincoln. I can march straight down to the police station.
And you can march from now till doomsday. I don't care. Nothing will be done. And as I said, it has been years. And today, your zizi has stopped.
But
what? I tell you already, Cynthia is a grown woman with big children. And I had a concussion to make me realize you mama guy in me. Mama!
It was your fault. So don't try to blame me. Cynthia was only 14 years old when you raped her and got her pregnant. You would be rotting in jail for the things I couldn't do you.
But it would only be about 5 years tops. I was a young man. You made me drink your zeze. And today, I still pay you.
Shut up,
you
shut up, I
be a
say.
millionaire by now.
Shut up.
I don't big money. And you forget that?
I forget? But get out of my hand. With the magie you shit in there.
Oh, so now it's magie.
But is that?
Well, take that. Your manipulating days are over. It stops here and now.
Stop talking your nonsense. It's the concussion talking.
Concussion talking? Wajma for Cynthia stops here and now. I finish.
Matoto, what you give me to drink there?
Boy, shut up.
Let's go for a walk.
You sure?
Yeah, we can go by the restaurant across from the club.
Why not your club?
Girl, I work there. Why would I want to lime there? Plus, Stephen is working tonight, and I do not want to cross paths with Meat.
You don't mind being seen with me?
Why would I? We are friends, and we are safe.
That's what you think. You don't know how some people are ignorant.
Well, I don't care. And we can talk about my parents' anniversary anyways.
Kina, you know everybody knows who I am. And I don't care. But you.
Carla, I just told you, I do not care. We can eat and sit wherever, whenever we want.
Yeah, but you can say all of that. But it is not always the case.
Hey, shut up! How do you get off on ridiculing people?
Because I wasn't talking to you, I was referring to that Zamia's.
Well, I could kick you.
I must have rocked your world last night and you loved it, didn't you?
Yeah, come over here and I will show you how.
You are terrible people. Go get a life.
Leave it alone. Let's just...
No, we are not living. We are eating right here.
You see what I mean? People are harsh and they will call you names too.
Let them try. They will see.
Come, let me show you what a real man can do for you.
You get that a lot.
You have no idea, Kina.
Well, let me go.
No, Kina, no.
Why? These people just have to learn to treat people better than that.
What you having? What you having?
Well, I will have a roti and a tamarind juice. I will save a seat for us over there.
Okay.
Thanks, Carlo.
You know, Kina, your mother and father will be celebrating their 25th anniversary soon, right? When am I going to meet the rest of the family?
Who have you met?
Well, I have met Louise. Louise.
Oh, that's my sister-in-law. Then there is my brother, mother, father. Yeah.
But as if you're missing somebody. A sister?
Oh, yes. Eve. Wait, but how you know her?
No, you mentioned her when Louise came to the battle last time. You don't remember?
Oh, yes, Eve. How I forgot. But you did not meet her the night?
No, I did not meet her.
Oh, yeah. Louise had to leave, that's true.
So when can I meet them?
Girl, mommy always seems to be busy doing nothing, and that is really never there these days. And trust me, you do not want to meet my dad. He is the epitome of homophobic. He and my sister do not agree.
So what you saying?
I don't know. We are okay as friends for now. But my family is really complicated. Oh yeah, and Evan, Eve is a twin.
So you have twins in your family?
And Carla, I want to tell you something. Away from the topic, but not to change the topic.
Yeah?
You cannot ignore the insults and the heckles of people. They are harassing you, and you should not take it lightly.
Listen, Kina, people have no bones in their tongues. They will say whatever they want to say. I cannot stop that.
I know. But what if you are cornered one day? What will you do then, huh?
I don't know.
Well, you must know. Look, I will give you the number of a friend of mine. Call him if you ever find yourself in trouble or anything like that. Okay?
Okay, I could try it sometime.
Good. Now let's eat. I am starving.
Kina.
Yes, Carla, my dear friend.
There is something I must tell you. I will not be here for long.
Huh? What are you talking about?
I have not been totally honest with you.
And there you have it. There you have it, folks. Episode number 14 of season 1 of the program I Write. I want to say good evening to each and every one of you guys listening in right now or viewing us on Facebook. My name is Mr. Macari and I'm your host this evening. Yes, and I have a co-host in the studio, but just before we get to the co-host, yes, we have somebody in the studio. It's a guest, but I like to say co-host. Don't forget the number to call is 458-2488. Of course, you could get us on a WhatsApp platform at 489-4781. And of course, you could leave your comments on Facebook. That's right, at CaribbeanHitsFM.com. I want to say good evening to my guest, our guest this evening, Della. Good evening to you. How are you doing?
Good evening, Roger. I'm doing very good, thank you.
How's the holiday treating you, my dear?
It was good. I spent most of it working, but it was good.
Yeah, same here. I had to do a lot of washing, cooking, cleaning. Then I had to go to the office. Then I'm here. Yes. But I write episode number 14. And for me, it was a very interesting one. Don't forget, people, that you could call in, of course, join in the conversation whenever you want. It was a very exciting one. Let me just give you a little recap. I'm just going to give the recap, and then we'll go into all the little things. So, Cynthia's on the phone with Evan. She's telling him about his dad episode and subsequent behavior. Louise arrives during the conversation to collect the rest of her things. Evan tells her about his dad And he uses that opportunity to try to apologize to Louise and to make an attempt at reconciliation, try to get her to stay and all that kind of thing. Okay? And now Stephen went to Matoto's house, and she has invited him over to discuss making arrangements to pay his dues for what he did to Kina. And for those of you who are listening to the show, well, yeah, he did something to Kina. Poor job, Kina. I have a friend called Kina, you know. But anyway, yes, while she's dealing with Stephen, Lincoln reached, and he's getting on and he's ranting about Cynthia and the role Matoto played in him marrying Cynthia. And as hard as she tries to quiet Lincoln, he continues to rant, and Stephen hears the conversation. And of course, Kina and Carla are out together in public for the first time. This sparks harsh comments from random people, and Kina steps in to stand up for Carla, but she's stopped. And then, of course, they share a moment of deep conversation, and then Kina offers help. Let's start at the beginning, and of course,
that's always a good place to
yes,
start.
let's start at the beginning. And I have to say, I don't even want to talk about Cynthia and Evan. I want to go straight into Louise and the fact that she came over, she was really good to collect her things, and Evan stops her, and Evan tries to reconcile and tell her, you know something, you don't really have to leave, but she's adamant. Well, you said that. You said let's separate, so I'm going. You understand? And you know, he tells her about his father, and immediately Louise kind of feels sorry a little bit. Of course, she was jabbing at him a little bit, and I quite agree with Louise, because after all, you tell the girl, let us separate, and all of a sudden now you're feeling a kind of why, you know, why? I mean, I that kind of troubling me. All of a sudden, why did she do that?
Do you really think that it's all of a sudden?
I
People
don't-
go through moments of reevaluation and rethink, and you take a step back from your situation, and then you stop and you think about what is actually taking place and the role that you yourself are playing in it. And in that moment, a lot of people have an aha eureka moment. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen very often, but people do get those aha eureka moments, and I think that is what happened with Evan.
Yeah.
He saw his mom and his dad and what was happening with them, and then he looked at his own relationship
Yes.
and saw what was happening there and the role that he was playing in that, and he had that eureka moment.
I
and
agree.
in that, he decided, you know what, let me
Look
at how I can
look at
fix
her, let
my
me reach out to my
relationship.
wife. Let me see if
Right.
she's willing to reconcile. And I think Louise, you know, I think she was playing hardball. I mean, you want me to go? Okay, I'll go. You know, but deep down, I mean, she really still loves her husband.
Yeah, but
And-
all of us have pride. It's a matter of, you know, coming over
Yes.
our pride and everything else. After you don't throw me out of the house already, I don't have to carry some of my things out. Is the rest I come in and take now? You come and tell me about Dogo.
Someone to go. After I have to face all that kind of embarrassment about taking someone go with it. You done shout after
Exactly.
me already, and now you come and tell me stay. Some people would have said, well, I done go already. I've gone. That's your business. They would have said it. But yes, Louise kind of probably the time she was away too was kind of weighing the situation also, and probably saying, well, maybe I was a little too hard on Evan, and I should have understood his situation a little bit. Maybe. I'm just saying.
And if we think back to some of our previous episodes, in some of the previous episodes, she did, in her conversations with Eve, she did make mention of the fact that, you know, she does have a good husband, and some of the things that he had been doing were
Yes.
were not regular things. You know, it was not stuff that he had been accustomed to doing. Some of it was the first time that he had done
Yes,
it.
yes.
And so I guess taking all of these things into consideration is very important. And this is something this is a conversation that needs to be had, where we don't look at some of the factors, the mitigating factors that
Yes.
cause domestic violence issues, that cause problems in the
Yes.
home. you know, stress is a very, very difficult thing that most people don't know how to manage.
That's very
and
true.
when it becomes too much of a stressful situation, sometimes the unfortunate result is that we lash out onto the persons who are closest
Just
to us,
close, yeah.
who we should be relying on. And I think that is what happened between Evan and Louise. And fortunately for them, it looked like they are finding their way back, better ways to deal with their situation and to come back together as a couple and as a family.
Okay, I just want to throw a little thing in there, just to play devil's advocate. I think Lincoln did something right after all. bringing Louise and Evan back together because, as you said, Evan looking at his parents and he doesn't want that for himself.
Well, you see, something else that happens to persons is something we call vicarious learning. And two things can happen with that. With Evan's situation, two things can happen. He can either continue to repeating the mistakes of his father, or he can, like I said, take a moment of reflection and decide, you know what, this is not what I want for myself, and these are the steps that I need to take to change that.
Yes.
And the latter choice is always the better one.
Yes. People, don't forget, you could jump in at any time. The number to call, 458-2488. You could check us out on WhatsApp. You could either message or you can call the WhatsApp number at 489-4781. Of course, want to say good evening to the folks listening in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Want to say hello to Alroy and Natisha, and of course their sister Natalia, who I tried to really get to listen tonight because she's never heard the program. So
wonderful.
Yes, welcome Natalia. Okay, let's move on to Stephen at Matoto's house. Now you see that thing about, when people see your business, and they hold you to account. Okay, you did something wrong, you don't want me to talk, or you don't want to get in trouble, well, you have to pay the piper. I think Stephen is under that kind of thing. Yeah? And Matoto is really milking the cow there. Of course, she called him over to make some arrangements and so on. Oh, we have a call already. Good evening. How are you doing? Good evening, you're live. Hello.
Hello, how are you doing?
I am doing nice, great, wonderful, blessed, and all the rest. And how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm there, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the word phobia, you hear me?
I'm listening.
What?
Sorry, we are listening.
Yeah, from the time I was a young man growing up, I heard that people have phobias to certain things. What causes phobia? Is it ignorance?
Well, I wouldn't say ignorance. I mean, why would you say somebody's ignorant of something? Some people are afraid of things they don't understand. Okay?
But do you think because you do have no understanding of that, that's a lack of maybe that's ignorant?
Maybe, yes. You could be touching on something there, yes.
Yeah, because
I mean, I'm ignorant of I may be ignorant of the fact that if I when the AIDS virus just came out, everybody saying if I touch that person, I'll get AIDS. But we found out later, or when the information started to come out, you found out that you don't have to. You do, but some people are just afraid. Sometimes you are afraid of what you don't understand.
And knowledge are quite different.
Yeah.
So if you have the information and knowledge, then
you can have the information and knowledge and choose to interpret it your own way or not use it in the right way. So you need to be careful with that too.
Now,
some people just want to remain ignorant.
Phobia is something that sometimes we can inherit.
You think?
Or sometimes we've been taught by our environment.
I believe the second thing that you said is the right one, but no, you don't inherit a phobia.
You've been taught.
Yeah,
Because I could remember that my mother had a phobia for lizard.
Okay.
As a little boy.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother would scream that the whole neighborhood will feel that they're raping her. She would scream, make noise. And I actually afraid too, because she is the one that making noise. I feel lizard is something that dangerous. And you know, to me, I growing up too afraid of lizard too. Because
Okay.
I see my mother screaming. It's after I begin to understand that lizard doesn't harm. I begin to re-educate myself, and then I move away from that, you know. You
I
know
see.
that? You understand what I mean?
I understand.
So I think that a lot of the things that people have phobia, either they've been something that have been passed on to generation, and if they don't really try to re-educate themselves to get out from that, they would never get out from it, because they have no reason to. Why you're afraid of this? Why you have phobia? You have to get to know why. You understand what I mean?
I understand.
So therefore, if we get a little deeper, we'll find that people have phobia to certain things that they even get angry at it. You understand? By instead of trying to deal with the problem of phobia, they don't want to deal with it, you know, but they feel that the things that they have phobia is the problem.
Okay, so in the case of the program that you just heard, then, what kind of phobia would you be referring to then?
Well, we are trying to think in general, see things in a general thing, you know. Maybe perhaps I don't want to touch on it because maybe people might think, well, I'm trying to, you know, I'm part of it too.
Hey, you're
You know
talking
what I
about
mean?
phobia, and you kind of, you're kind of putting out your own phobia there. You're talking about a phobia.
Well,
and I see you kind of going in the phobia direction. Do you know? I mean,
well, it's not really. I have phobia, you know. But you know, people actually, you know, they actually what they call that? They try to burn you because as you try to defend something.
Okay.
Instead of, you know, because education, the word education is like you have to be educated. When you have an educated program, people misunderstand it and say, well, you're trying to promote something, you know?
Yeah, I understand.
You know what I mean?
I understand.
But it's something that people need to open their mind, and see the bigger picture. So anyway, have a good night.
You too, sir. Thank you. Yes. Speaking of phobias, I think he was probably talking about Keena and Carla and the fact that they were out together and people are kind of heckling them and so on, and just people just not liking what they're seeing. Maybe a lack of information. You just come there, you see something, you see the person out with somebody that is known to be, you know, of a certain sexual persuasion or, you know, a preference, and right away you don't start jumping on the person already. That could be probably what he was speaking about.
I want to bring two things to the caller. The first one is he actually mentioned it. Hate is taught. Unfortunately, but that's the reality. Hate is taught. You put two children in a room without telling them anything about each other, and they're going to play and they're going to be very happy. But then you begin to tell them all of these things, and they will change their attitudes and behaviors towards each other.
Okay, we have a call on WhatsApp. Good evening to you, sir. How you doing?
Good afternoon, Mr. McCarry. How you doing?
Well, it's good evening, sir. How you doing? Good night.
Hey, good night. Well, guess what? I'm in San Diego, so
Oh,
it's early still.
okay.
All right, good night, Miss Della. How you doing?
Good evening. I'm doing fine, thank you.
All right. Now, with Lincoln, I don't think it's a phobia. You know, growing through life, you know, when people hold certain position in society, they're afraid to let something or anything demise or diminish their reputation. You understand? Now, he growing up there, you know, probably grew up to a society that, you know, it's against gay. You know, they grew up with a concept of, you know, God made Adam for Eve, and, you know, and that thing. But now, that's what he knows. Now, with society, everything is changing. You have people coming out more and more with their sexuality, you know?
Yes.
So, to him, having his own daughter or his son in that kind of life, it's a tarnishment to his reputation and as a police officer what he's been looked at in society. So I don't think it's a phobia. It's just that he's afraid of what people will say.
You think it to him it's more shameful than anything else?
Yes, sir. That's what he's worried about instead of embracing his flesh and blood.
Okay.
Okay.
So when people say phobia, to me, I don't think there is what you call a phobia. It's just that people is afraid of what other people might say if they do this or they do that.
Caller, can I ask? Have you ever heard the term cognitive dissonance?
Yeah.
Do you think that's probably what is happening to Lincoln and what's happening to most persons in society? And let me just, for our other listeners who are paying attention, cognitive dissonance is when you have conflicting ideas and beliefs and it begins to influence your behavior. So we're going through the process where we're having the re-education and we're learning that, we can't discriminate against persons because of their sexuality, because of their race, because of their religion and so on. But somewhere in the back of our head, while we know that, okay, this makes sense, we have known for so long that if you don't you're not the same religion as me, then your religion is wrong, and then I can't have anything to do with you, or I'm white and you black and that's a problem, or it's only straight people that should be acknowledged and homosexual persons or gay persons are not even human to begin with. And you are battling with those two sets of beliefs in your head, what you have learned for so long and what you are now being taught. And for the most part, you are resolving to what you were taught, even knowing that what you are doing is wrong. And do you think that most of us right now are suffering or dealing with a case of cognitive dissonance when it comes to human rights, as opposed to just a phobia or just being ignorant or just not knowing any at all?
And you're right. Most likely, that is what is happening in society. But, as I said, we grew up in that mentality, and then we tend to judge, or and think that if that person is this way, that I'm better than that person because that person is not doing the right thing. And it says there is two thing I like to say. There's a verse in the Bible that say, "He who has no sin cast the first."
Okay. Oh.
Got cut off.
It's not
Judge
really.
not,
Okay, he's
lest
back.
he be judged. So, I mean to say, that's the person's life. That's what they want to look. You accept it. You educate yourself about it, and don't cast judgment. At the end, you're not the one going to judge that person at the end of life. The Almighty is the one going to do it.
Okay.
So very true. Yes. But let me ask a question. I need to ask that question. What do you think can be done with parents like Lincoln, who has an LBT, a child who is gay? What do you think should can be done?
I think Lincoln should be more.
Okay, we have a connection problem. I think he might come back in just a while, and if he does, then we're going to let him back on. But yes, we do have a connection problem here. But yes, I'm going to ask the question, what I mean, anybody, I'm throwing it out for anyone. What do you think can be done with parents like Lincoln who have children who are gay? Should, of course, the cognitive dissonance, yes, it exists. It is. A lot of people suffer with that in our society. A lot of people. Okay, and we have that caller back again. Good evening, sir. I know you got cut off. Go ahead with your.
Yeah. As I was saying, what Lincoln should do is be a bit more receptive, open his mind and broaden his horizon to learn. Because at the end of the day, whatever he does, he cannot change or make that his son's decision. You understand?
He cannot. That's true.
So the best he could do is be supportive as a parent, and as I said, open his mind, sit with his son, talk about it, so that he could see, not only on his side but from his son's point of view.
Okay.
And that's what a lot of parents need to do, because we grew up with that same way our parents grew up, beat that wooden horse, right?
Yeah.
With me, I deal with my kids like I'm their best friend. That way they're more open. They're a lot more open to me. But they know where to draw the line where there is parent and sibling, or parent and child, sorry. But my kids and I will sit down, we'll discuss it, and then they come to me as one of the best friends.
Very good. Very good.
And that's the open channel, open communication that parents should have with their kids, whether they're gay or not.
Okay. Okay then, sir. Thank you for your contribution.
You're welcome. Y'all have a good night.
You too, sir.
Thank you so much.
All right.
But Roger, let me ask, as usual, like you, I'll play devil's advocate. I go to church either every Saturday or every Sunday, and in church, which is my life, which is what I've lived all of my life, I am told that this is wrong. And there are certain verses of scripture that says, you even probably would want to go to some extent as to suggest as to how you need to deal with such a situation. Yes. And this is what I have heard for all of these years. And now I go home and my child is telling me that, they of that orientation. How do you face that?
That's true. We have a call coming in and I'll try to answer in a while. Good evening, sir. You are on the air. Good evening.
Hi, good evening. Thank you very much for taking my call. I heard you ask the question about what could parents do. The question. Like Lincoln.
Let me ask the question again. What can be done with parents like Lincoln who have children who are gay?
Right. So I think one of the first things we have to understand is, one, what could be done with parents like Lincoln is, you have already the issue where he's battling with the fact that there's a hatred towards the daughter. That is Eve. That's one. Now she already has a challenge trying to get acceptance from her father. So she has the issues dealing with. We also have to look at Lincoln as someone who needs that sort of help and support. And while there may be so many underlying issues as to why he's homophobic, whether you want to call it because it was learned, it's nurture, it's nature, whatever. The fact is, one of the key things that parents like Lincoln need a lot of support in terms of being able to accept, what that they have a child who belongs to the LGBT community. And we live in a society, and I think I want to agree with something that the previous caller said, that there's a level of shame sometimes that parents don't want to bear when the child go a separate way. You understand? The way in terms of this is what the family set out for you, this is what you're supposed to be doing. And when you move away from that norm, or what the family believes to be a norm or accepted in society, in that family, like in certain parts of the Middle East, you have what is called mercy killings, right? Where if a child strays away from the family beliefs, the family has the right to kill that child. And sadly, it's something that's accepted within certain cultures. So Lincoln also has to deal with family. He does not want to deal with the shame that in his mind that his lesbian daughter is bringing to his name at the end. A lot of parents, sometimes that's one of the biggest issues for them. Not the fact that you've done something different, but the fact that you've brought some level of shame to their name.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the episodes, when you listen to Lincoln, there's a lot of hatred. Maybe not even but the way he deals with Al also, you could hear that there's a hatred for gay people, and now he has a daughter who is gay, so that sort of doubles it for him. So a parent like Lincoln needs support. It is not easy when a parent has a child who goes against the quote unquote what is considered to be normal in society. Whether the child is LGBT, whether that child turns out to be any other person that commits a crime, the parent needs support. And a lot of times we don't look at that. So I certainly think that one thing that could happen is there need to be some sort of intervention at Lincoln where he's able to receive that sort of support, be it through an organization like United and Strong. Now, again, it's very difficult to have a parent to openly say that they would take assistance from United and Strong, which is the organization that works with LGBT persons.
Yes.
But again, the intervention must be designed to be able for that acceptance to take place. Like, for example, I know there was a conversation with Father Ralston.
Okay.
And that was dealing with domestic violence, but that could also be the avenue towards bringing Lincoln to start understanding, those steps. But I think with a parent who has an LGBT person, a child, they need an intervention. They need support from organizations like United and Strong, from organizations like Gender, if Gender truly understands some of the issues that are affecting young people. I recall 3 or 4 years ago, I was involved in an intervention with a parent, and that parent had a 13-year-old boy. And it was something that and the then Director of Human Services was involved also. And she would beat that boy because, there's the so quote-unquote feminine way to hold, how you would shape your hand, the way you would walk, the way you would speak.
Yes.
And whenever he behaved like a female, for want of a better word, she would beat him for him to behave more manly, like literally, physically beat this child. You understand?
Yes.
And so I recall the intervention where sitting down with that parent and having a conversation with the parent, so the parent had understanding who the child was and the issues that the child is dealing with. Because after this child is dealing with issues outside the home, he or she now has to come inside the home and deal with those issues. But first of all, a parent like Lincoln must learn to start understanding and accepting and providing support to a child like Eve. That is very difficult when you grow up in a society which has taught you that anything LGBT is sinful, it's an abomination. So a parent like Lincoln would certainly have that support the same way Eve would need support.
Okay, sir. Okay, then thanks for your contribution.
Thank you, caller.
You're most welcome.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I want to agree emphatically with the caller. Which is I asked the question, but this is where I was going with it.
Yes,
that
I want to attempt to answer that question, or of course to make my own little point on the question that
because it is not something that is just one-sided, and you can't just provide support to the child without providing support to the
parent also.
It must be an equal street where both persons you deal with both of the issues, because understand that you go to the hospital and they tell you had a son, and then right away in your mind's eye you have all of these hopes and expectations for your child,
teaching your boy about girls and that kind of thing,
and then somewhere along the way that changes. It's traumatic for a parent, and the parent needs the same hand holding and the same support as the child would need to help them understand that this is the same child that you came home with.
That's right.
This is the baby that they gave you at the hospital. And the same way you fed him and you changed his diaper and you played with him and you rocked him to sleep, this is the same baby. And providing that is very, very important to bridge the gap between parents who have such a big challenge when it comes to their children who belong to the LGBT community.
Okay, and I agree with the caller and you. But let me see if I could try and come back and answer that question that you asked. Saturday and Sunday you in church. You are taught that to lie with anybody of the same, two people lying of the same sex lying together is a sin, it's an abomination. And if I remember correctly, because I went to church too, and my mother was very hard on us being, Bible savvy. If I remember correctly, there was a penalty for that. Today, I mean, you have to read the Bible and you have to understand the Bible in the context that it was written also. And there are also certain things in there where the good Lord above, at no time did he force you or will he impose his will on you. He gave you free will. Okay? Let me take that call and then I will come back because I don't want the person holding. Good evening. You are live on air. Good evening, and how are you doing? Oh, the person is connecting. Oh, and we are connecting. Well, maybe we should hold until the person connects. But yes, I was saying, you have a right to choose between life and death. To choose between a blessing and a cursing. It is written in the Bible. I have placed before you life and death, a blessing and a curse. And he asks you, he doesn't tell you, he tells you to choose life, but he's kind of hoping that you choose life. It is your freedom to choose. You have the right to choose. Hold on. Good evening to you. How are you doing?
Hi, good night.
Hello, good night. I will get back to that. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, you are on the air. Go ahead.
Hello, good night.
How are you doing?
Yes. I'm good. How are you?
I am nice, great, wonderful, blessed, and all the rest. How are you doing?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good. Yes. You all were speaking, and in people's minds, whatever they tell you, whatever the truth is the truth.
Okay.
So if the grass is green and the grass is brown and I tell you the grass is green, it always that's what you will see. Nothing gonna change your mind. Now you see your mind, when your mind set is that, unless you're willing to see it on another side. Now Lincoln, for the time there, Lincoln will never change. Lincoln will never change. Lincoln will never see nothing else but that.
But caller, do you think that with a little bit of help and a little bit of patience, Lincoln will see or will be able to accept?
Lincoln. I don't think nothing can help Lincoln. Nothing cannot help Lincoln.
Are you sure about that?
I don't think nothing can help Lincoln.
Okay, well.
Nothing cannot help him.
What? Okay, well, let me just. I want you to stay on the line, but I would like to finish answering a question that was posed. Somebody was playing devil's advocate, and the question was: you're going to church Saturday and Sunday, you're reading your Bible, and the Bible is telling you that anybody or two people of the same sex who lie together is wrong. It is a sin. It is an abomination. Okay? What do you do? And today now you are seeing that, and it is becoming very, 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 very prevalent, open, call it what you will, but it's there now. It is there in your face right now, and people are choosing to go that way. People are born that way, and people are living their life like that. But you were raised. Hold on. But you were raised in the church.
They will try and think the Bible, interpret the Bible how they want. They will look for other versions they will do something. They will, whatever they feel is that. So they will look for whatever that's supporting them. So their truth is their truth. Nothing cannot change them.
You think their truth is their truth? I heard you say
Yes.
their truth is their truth. You didn't say the truth is the
whatever
truth.
they believe is their truth.
Okay.
But it's for us to know what's right and wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right then. Okay. Anything else? You don't talk about Matoto and.
At the end, I heard Carla telling Eve, what's her name?
Kina.
Yes. Right. The last sentence she told Kina, look the soft start. Carla have a crush on Kina.
You think so?
Carla have a crush on Kina. Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Carla have a crush. Carla have an eye on Kina. Look the trouble.
Okay, but the last thing she said, well,
because
you know, I haven't been honest with you, and I don't have long. I'm not going to be around for long. So I kind of trying to understand what the crush is there.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
She the way she ended, that was what that was going on.
Okay, all right.
So.
Okay then, thanks for your contribution.
Yes.
Okay then.
But Roger, even with all that we have said this evening, the fundamental reality remains that all of us are human. Everything that you can use to describe what is a human being, we are all humans.
I most certainly agree.
And we all have these fundamental rights that belongs to every single human being. It doesn't matter whether you are male or female.
100 amens to that.
Whether you old or young, whether you black or white or Asian or whatever, whether you like men or women, whether you like the opposite sex, we are all human and we are all entitled to these fundamental rights.
We have a call coming in. Good evening, you are on the air.
Yeah, it's getting interesting, yeah?
Yes, it's getting very interesting.
Yeah, and you know, I'm a guy, I'm an open man. Open mind, you know? I don't
Okay.
like to be closed mind, you know?
Yeah.
Because when you close mind, it's actually, you know the truth, you know? You know, sometimes the truth has been compromised. You know that?
In what way, sir? Explain.
When I look at the truth has been compromised, maybe to satisfy certain people, to satisfy, you know.
Do you think people compromise the truth to satisfy their own selves, or is the truth being compromised by some whoever to?
Well, some people
explain?
compromise the truth in order to not to hurt other people's feelings. You know, because I'm telling you, what is education? Education is to get is an information, you know. You know that?
Yes, I do.
Because if there's a book, for example, is telling you about frogs, where you could learn about frogs, right?
Okay.
Some people don't like frog at all, you know. Now, the moment you bring that frog book for them, they don't want it. They will just throw it aside. They don't want to know nothing about frogs because they don't like frogs. And they don't want to study about frogs, the nature of frogs. They don't want to study about it anyway.
Yes.
So it's telling you there's certain things that people stay away from. But education is very broad, you know. So people normally choose what they want. What they want is a reality, and what they don't want is not a reality. But to believe and not to believe does not change the price of coffee. It remains the same. You understand what I mean?
I understand.
So we need to have a broad, we have to think open, you know, and then we'll be able to have more you know, towards things that are different to what we are normally used to.
Okay then, sir.
Yeah?
All right.
Okay.
All right, sir. Thank you for your contribution. You were saying?
Yes, that it doesn't really matter what you think of me as a person. The point of the matter is I am a human and I am entitled to these rights.
Yes,
which is what we are every Monday that we come out with the I Write episodes and we entertain you and we have all of this conversation. At the end of the day, that is the point, that we are all entitled to these rights, whether it's the right to education, the right to work,
the right to life, just basically the basic right to life.
Yes.
You have a right to breathe the air God put on the earth for the good and the bad. You understand?
Yes.
You have the right.
That's
You have the
every
right.
single person's right.
Yes, you have the right to food, clothing, and shelter.
And no one has the right to say, hey, Roger, you see that shirt, because you're wearing that shirt there, I don't like that color, you don't have the right to be here, or you don't have the right to have a job or to eat or to go to school.
Exactly.
That is very, very important for us to understand that.
There's something else that I think that we have to say it, and I have to say it. You have the right to think for yourself. You have the right to choose for yourself. Nobody has the right to take that from you. That is your God-given right. From the time you're born, you had that right. You were born with that right. You're going to die with that right. No other person is supposed to take it away from you. Okay? Unless, of course, you do something wrong, you break the law, and they put you in. You have the right to abide by the rules in the penitentiary. That's the only thing. But what we're trying to tell you here, there are basic human rights that you have the right to, and no one can take it away from you. Okay? And of course, my thing is the right to choose. It doesn't matter whether somebody doesn't like it. Okay? It is still your right to choose. And that person has to respect your right to choose. Okay? I heard there was a caller was talking about mercy killings and so on. And a couple of years ago in St. Lucia, you know, people were killed because of their choice. Mm-hmm. You know, they were killed because of choice. I would like to think that because of the I Write program and because of us sharing and speaking, and it's now, you know, open for everybody to make their contributions and to whether agree or disagree, that we come out of that kind of thinking where we feel we should go and take somebody's life because we do not like what they are doing. Mm-hmm. We do not like their choice or sexual preference or whatever, that we think that we could just rob that person of their basic human right. I think this, you know, dialogue, conversation should be happening for a long time. Okay? Open, yes, you can call and disagree if you want, but you must respect people's right to choose. Let me just give you an example. You're married, but you choose to go and cheat on your wife. That's your right to choose to go and cheat on your wife. We're not saying it's right, but it is your right to choose.
I think one of the challenges is that we are mistaking respect for acceptance.
Exactly, yes.
I don't have to accept it, but I need to respect you as a person. Whatever it is you do, it does not necessarily mean that I agree with you or I am in acceptance of your choice. But I need to respect you as a person. It is your right to make whatever choice. It's your right to decide if you want to be a gardener, if you want to work on the road, if you want to do maintenance, if you want to be a lawyer, if you want to be a doctor. The same way it is your right to choose who you want to be with. Mm-hmm. And nobody has the right to deny you anything because of that choice that you have made. Exactly. We don't have to accept. We don't have to agree. We can agree to disagree. But we must respect each other and respect the fact that everybody has those fundamental human rights. I was with a group of young people on Saturday afternoon, and we were talking through some of these issues. And I said to them, you know, everybody says this, I don't have a problem with what you do, just don't bring it to me. And I said, okay, I personally have a challenge with that statement. And my challenge with this is, if I go to a bar and I'm sitting at a bar alone, a man will see me and think, okay, you know, this woman looks really good. Let me go up to her and see if she will be willing to have a conversation with me.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So why can't a woman who see me and think that I look good
and
decide
to have a conversation
with me? Now it is my choice whether or not I engage either party in conversation. Now for me, I don't want nobody to come and have a conversation. If I go to a bar by myself, it's because I want to be by myself. So don't come and have a conversation with me, male or female. And they started laughing, and I said, but that is the reality. And these are some of the conversations that we need to have. If a man can come and hit on me, why can't a woman? It's all about attraction, not all of the other things that we are attaching to it. A man can be attracted to another man. A man can be attracted to another woman. A woman can be attracted to another woman or a man. It's all about attraction. And it's not about bringing my
thing
issue
to you,
or my thing,
it's not bringing
my
thing
agenda
to you. I just think you're attractive.
It's attraction. So I come up to you and I say, you know, I find you attractive. Can I buy you a drink? No. because I'm not interested.
Exactly.
Male or female.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Yeah.
But we have this thing. I don't have a problem if you just don't bring it to me. What is the don't bring it to me part? I don't quite.
Yeah, what exactly do you mean when you say, well, don't bring it to
Yeah.
me? What not to bring? You know, be
The same
specific.
way- the same way
You
is-
don't want
is-
to. I think that's a shortcut or a way to just get out of the issue. Yeah, you're on your vibe, you know, but just don't bring your vibe to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to deal with it, you know. And then behind the person back now, you're going to see me as this, that. No.
But this is this, and this conversation is my personal viewpoint. Everybody else is allowed their viewpoint. This is mine.
Yeah.
And this is just how I see the issue.
Okay.
Okay? If a man can hit on me, I don't see a problem with a woman hitting on me because it's all about attraction. And at the end of the day, the same way the choice is theirs to decide, okay, I want to hit on this person or not. The choice is mine
To
if I am
accept.
going to engage and further the conversation
Yes.
or if I am going to nip it in the butt and say, hey,
Yes.
I'm not interested. Respectfully.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course. You have to respectfully accept or decline.
Yes.
Yes. But quickly, I want to touch Matoto. We have to touch Matoto. This one is very interesting. I made my little points on that one. So I'm going to make my points. And I may be getting it wrong, but that's what I saw. Okay, so Stephen is speaking to Matoto. And I think that's Evan's grandmother. Right. Okay, and Stephen was telling Matoto of the affairs a kind of a way because Matoto had the wrong idea. I don't know why Matoto always have the wrong idea, but yeah, in certain things Matoto have the wrong idea. But there are certain things that Matoto don't have the wrong idea because Matoto saw. You understand? And Stephen did something bad. Stephen, was it on Kina? It was right. Stephen was seen kissing Kina when she was a younger girl, and Stephen was an older boy.
Well, it wasn't just that she was younger, it was a forced encounter.
So he forced himself
Yes.
on Kina, and Kina didn't take it well, and Matoto saw him and tell him, come here, you did that, so on and so on. You know what could happen if I go and tell. So they had to make a little, in the local palace, wajma. You understand? But I don't think Stephen really know what really going on there because Matoto have her little agenda too. You understand? Now, while that is happening, Stephen is blind to the fact that he's entering into a washman. You even know what's going on. Lincoln Rich. And Lincoln is telling Matoto, let me tell you something. You see all that guilt trip you have me on, and you see that kind of me paying you for marrying your daughter? That finish. Okay? I made them, and that's the nice thing, eh? I don't think he did it deliberately, but he did it. To me, he did it. That he admitted that he made a mistake back then. And he's been paying for that mistake up until now. His children are big now, and he still have to go and pay Matoto. But say, okay, it take me that incident or that experience of me almost losing my life to see I'm not on your papi show anymore. And that's how I see it. And Matoto saying, Matoto wants to engage him and hold him in it, but Matoto don't want Stephen to know what's going on. So she has no choice but to try and calm Lincoln down and just shoo him off. And that's how I see the story.
Well, you see, that too is something that is very prevalent in our society. Yeah? We have a situation where our young children, especially, well, I was about to say especially our young girls, but we are getting so many more reports of our young boys. And where this happens to our children, and parents, guardians, whether through fear, because sometimes it's fear, or just not really understanding the issue and how detrimental and traumatic it is for the child, will engage and be part of these arrangements, whether you get paid money for it or you send your child across, or different arrangements
Yeah.
that they get tied into. And I want to really think that sometimes it's because of fear or really not understanding
yeah.
what is really going on and what is happening, and how they need to stand up as a parent for the right of their child. And they find themselves tied into these situations. And we were having a conversation about it just before the show started.
Yes.
And and sometimes it's the victim too who just does not want to go through the process. And we can understand that the process can also add further trauma to the victim.
Yeah, you're
just
kind
the
of explaining
whole
the
thing that you
process to
have
me,
to
and it's
go
why it's,
through.
yeah.
And it can add further trauma, and somebody can understand, the person just not wanting to go through that process over and over and over again. But it is something that we really need to look at very, very seriously, because it can really, really affect further. The act being committed against the child is already damage.
Yes.
But getting into these arrangements can add further damage
yes.
to the child. And it's very important for us to pay, because even in the episodes, we see Kina's hatred towards Stephen, and she just does not like anything about Stephen. And it's partly because she is under the impression that nobody knows what happened, but her grandmother did.
Yeah, and she doesn't really know that Stephen is about to pay.
No, but rather than step in and protect her granddaughter,
she didn't.
She is now about to use this situation for her benefit.
For her benefit and gain. Yes, that's one. Yeah.
And her daughter is seriously dealing with the trauma of having that done to her as a child.
But not only that. But let me tell you something. Matoto is a real case there, because first of all, Lincoln came, interfered your child, your daughter. Okay? You trap Lincoln in a wajma. Okay? To me, if you trap him in a wajma because he had already gotten Cynthia pregnant, I mean, probably the process of going and having an abortion and people finding out and all that kind of thing would have further brought more trauma on Cynthia. And of course, Mototo is probably thinking, that's a bad name for me too. You understand? You mean to tell me your granddaughter going through the thing and you're still trying to do this?
But she did it already for her daughter.
Yes.
Her daughter, that's her daughter. She did it to her daughter. So what makes you think she would not do it to her granddaughter?
Yeah.
But let's look at that situation. Cynthia went through that trauma with Lincoln. Gotten pregnant with his kids, and then she now had to marry him.
Yes.
So we can begin to look in and see why Cynthia is trapped in this marriage and accepting a lot of the things that she has been accepting from Lincoln, and how that has played on her mental psyche over the years and has made her into the person that she is. And we've asked that question quite a bit. Why is Cynthia, taking that from Lincoln
all the time?
And why doesn't she stand up for herself? But that is some serious psychological trauma that Cynthia has suffered.
I know Casey is not going to like me, but I kind of feeling it for Lincoln now, because he unknowingly admitted that he did something wrong.
Yes, he did.
Okay? And he's saying, guys, I've been trapped in that thing because of you. Okay? And look at that. As a result of me getting trapped in that, he must bring back. He must even have that thing in his head that it's because he's been trapped in that thing. He must be paying for his sin. He realized that he must be for his wrongdoing, okay, and he must see that as him getting a child that is gay, and that beating him up, all that must be playing on Lincoln, all them kind of thing.
Yes, but we also need to take into consideration that Lincoln is not a child.
Exactly.
Lincoln is a grown man, and as a result, being an adult, he needs to deal with his situation.
Exactly.
As an
you need
adult.
to go back. He needs to go back and deal first with the fact of the Cynthia issue, and then come back down. You did something wrong with Cynthia, and the way that you were treating her over the years, you now have to make amends for all of that.
That's true.
All of that. Okay? Yes, you want to get out of the washmud, but that's not absolve you of the things that you did before and all the things that you did to that person that you married, or you were forced to marry. Okay, but you still married her. And you lived with her for how many years? So many years, 25 years. You lived with this woman. You could have made up for it. You know, you could have made up for it, but you didn't. You kept treating her bad. After you treated her bad the first time, you kept on doing it. You understand?
So while I want to maybe side with you just a little bit, where you saying that you're feeling sorry for Lincoln.
A little bit.
Yeah, but the old people have a saying, and my friend says that to me all the time. Moon paka bukote pawol puku. So it really doesn't matter what the situation in the relationship is. You don't raise your hand.
You don't exchange. My mother always said, you don't exchange words for blows. You understand? You don't exchange words for blows. But there's another old saying, and I'm going to say there, all unfair game have to play over. Of course, I want to thank you so much for being here. Of course, I want to thank all the listeners and all of those who made a contribution. Of course, I have to go through there. Everybody has the right to choose. Okay? I have the right to choose. You have the right to choose. You have the right. Okay? You have basic human rights. It is your right. And no one can take away or should take away your rights from you. Of course, if you see somebody doing something wrong, okay, you see somebody doing that is something that is wrong, it is even worse to do nothing about it. Ouve bouchou ek parle. Okay? Speak up. Don't say me that am my business. No. If it is wrong, you know it is wrong, you don't say anything, you in it too. Because you saw. Poor job, Matutu. Okay, this has been, of course, another beautiful and, of course, exciting episode of I Right. Want to thank you, Della, for being here tonight. Hopefully, we'll have you next Monday. Hopefully, or maybe both of you, and maybe one of the other gentlemen will join us. Yes? Okay. This is Mr. Makari signing out until next Monday evening. You'd have a wonderful evening, everybody.
St. Lucia's latest radio drama.
This man is making me crazy. I cannot deal with this.
With Bienfait, I write.
I just can't with all of these responses.